Over the last 2 years, I've generated over $7 million in sales for coaching clients through my agency, and a good chunk of that revenue was generated through low-ticket ascension funnels. Now, if you run a low-ticket ascension funnel and you want to get up to that 5% conversion rate with paid traffic, the next 30 minutes will save you months of time and thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars that you would waste on split tests trying to hit that 5% conversion rate. And I can say that because that's what these 30 minutes did for Dan. Dan runs a low-ticket ascension funnel for his AI agency coaching business. And a few weeks ago, when I saw Dan's ads on my feed, I offered to do a full audit from A to Z, breaking down his funnel and showing him exactly how he can hit that 5% conversion rate. I went into the conversion killers that he had on his page and the hidden conversion levers he could pull to get more buyers at a lower cost. He accepted the 20-minute audit and watched the entire thing. And after seeing him implement the changes that I suggested, I've decided to share the very audit I sent to him with you, because the very same conversion killers that Dan was experiencing on his low ticket funnel could be affecting your low ticket funnel. So when you watch this video, you're going to understand exactly how to fix them. So let's jump into it. What's going on, Dan? Figured I'd record this today right before the new week. So if there's any suggestions that resonate, right, you can put them in place. These are primarily the little pieces, right? Kind of the tip of the iceberg. Just out of respect for your time. I don't want to make this like 2 hours long because it could be that long, right? If I go through absolutely everything. However, these suggestions will make sense. I kind of go in order in this doc. Some things are scattered around, but you will be able to put the puzzle pieces together and understand what to adjust. First thing, we've noticed right now the highest performing low ticket pages, and we've been testing this, are just shorter versions of these long pages, long sales pages for low tickets. And I'm going to show you what sections specifically we include on, the shorter pages. But I believe it just could be tied to people's attention spans, them getting overwhelmed, because there's, if you install Microsoft Clarity, right, and you record people, which I think you might be already doing, maybe you're not, but you can record every session, right, of every page visit onto your low ticket page. So you can see where are people scrolling, where are they dropping off. You can see a heat map of your entire page. And we have identified a few key sections where, because I used to do these long pages as well, but a few key sections where people spend the most amount of time, right? And we just deleted everything else, right? So it's kind of like the 80-20 principle, because those are the specific things that they are looking for and that they are reading. So those are the specific sections that we keep, and then we delete and get rid of everything else. And again, from the highest performing low ticket funnels, that typically converts better. Then let's go into the above the fold. Again, I wrote this doc out yesterday, so I'm just reading through this as you read through this. The logo from your eyebrow, I would delete this, right, as well as the reviews below the eyebrow, this right here. You could have replaced the eyebrow to be smaller and call out your ICP. So whether it's people who are trying to transition from their 9 to 5 to running an online business or existing agency owners. I understand the avatar just from consuming your VSL and of course the sales page. It is a little broad because you kind of speak to people who are already, trying to compete for clients with other people. They're doing all these old methods. And then you're also speaking to people who just want to make money online, like complete beginners. But you can still call out that ICP, right? And replace this on a sales page, right? Above the fold, there's limited real estate. If we're not using all of that real estate to increase your conversion rate past 5% and beyond, typically we aim for 4 to 5%. The logo, the real estate gets wasted, right? So it's like right now when someone lands on the page, especially on mobile, right? If you remove this section, they're going to see the 30-day money back guarantee completely. They're going to see possibly the first review. So you have more real estate to build that trust. And then I would even move this one below the button if you want to include the reviews, right? But the logo just doesn't make sense, right? The people, they don't know this company. They don't know who Flexible is. They don't care. All they care about, and I know that might sound, hopefully they're respectfully, but it's like they don't know you. They don't care about the company. They care about how can they make, $1,000 a day with the system, or how can they benefit from this? And your company branding, your logo doesn't really communicate any of that. It doesn't communicate any of those benefits. It doesn't speak to their pain points. So it just wastes the real estate that you have, right? If something included here, right? If the logo was Nike or Adidas or another company name with mass awareness, maybe it would build credibility, but it's like flexible. Most people have never heard of it. The next thing, contact us. Again, these are just the little pieces, right? I can go on more about this, but if you have setters, I would replace contact us with a live support chat, or if you just have VAs, which I assume you do, right? I believe that's info at inbox. So replace it with actual support agents. If you do have them, right, it would be great if they do work 24/7, so 8 hours each, right? You only need 3 people. And we have found that to actually increase conversions as well, because there's just too many loopholes for someone to jump through. If they need to email you, they need to go through this entire process. If there's a support chat here, right, there's plenty of apps for this. It just makes the entire process easier, and it's like a live support chat, right? The main thing is just they need to respond to people on time, right? As long as they can do that, that does increase your conversions, right? So if someone does have an objection, they will actually go to that chat and ask that question. The current headline sells the system rather than the outcome. It's doing its job, but it can be improved, right? So right now, copy this 2-line SMS AI system that's quietly paying beginners. Of course, you're selling the outcome here, right? While everyone else is chasing the latest AI widgets. I would just keep, this is another thing, right? With the shorter sales pages, we've noticed like shorter to the point, straight to the point headlines have performed better, where there's just one core idea, right? We're not talking about all the competition chasing the next AI widget. So here's an example. Again, this is just a quick example, but I would replace this specifically speaking to the you, right? How you can benefit, or in your case, like the ICP, right? How the ICP can benefit from the system, or using the system, and how they can make 10 to 30K per month, or land 10 to 30K per month clients without tech skills. The sub-headline, I noted here, it's not doing its job and is likely pulling the current conversion rate down because it's selling the feature instead of doubling down on selling the benefits, or doubling down on them watching the video to understand how they can claim these benefits. So right now, the short book reveals the first thing is like, this short book, they're not yet sold on buying the book, right? So if you were to include a sub-headline like this should be about the video, right? Because this is where the easiest way for them to consume your sales message and understand like what's actually inside of the book, what's actually inside of the product, that can help them, right? So this short book reveals a simple 2-line SMS AI system that restarts. The other thing here is they don't care about this, right? Unless they are running the business themselves. But again, from my understanding, you're selling to people who would use this system to land clients and implement the system into businesses. So this is like selling from the seller's perspective, right? From your point of view. It's like, because it's a cool system, right? It does this, but they don't care about any of that. They care about how is this going to make them money? How is this easier than the other ways they've tried making money online? That's what they care about. And this doesn't necessarily convey those outcomes, right? So yeah, I mentioned this here. The sub-headline needs to double down on selling the benefit while removing objections. That's another thing, right? The limitations, which also will increase your VSL play rate, right? So yeah, a lot of people will land on the page, they'll read this, they're going to think this is too good to be true. How is this possible? 2-line SMS, there's no way, right? They're going to have all these limiting beliefs, where they're going to think, again, right, like I don't have the right tech skills, I don't have enough experience, right? I don't know how to use AI. So they're going to have those limitations. They won't even play the video. They're not going to scroll. They're going to click off the page. So the new sub-headline, this is just an example. Watch this short video to see how complete beginners are landing 10 to 30K per month AI clients, even if they've never sold anything online, have zero tech skills. This is specifically if you want to call out that beginner ICP, right? Which this does call out the ICP. Have zero tech skills or still work a full-time job. Here you're selling the next step because, again, selling the step of buying the book, right? Like this short book reveals, before they've even consumed any of the sales messaging is kind of just not, it's not optimal, right? For the reasons I've explained. You, of course, like the VSL does the selling here, or the page if they start scrolling, but you have the VSL here, right? So it's not like you're trying to get them to read the sales letter, you're trying to get them to watch the VSL. So that should be the next step that you're selling, the next step that your call to action directs them to, right? If they want to find out more. And then removing any sort of limiting beliefs or constraints that they have in their head to make sure they actually do play the VSL, right? So they don't think, oh, this won't work for me because of this or because of this, right? I have a full-time job. How can I do this? These are just examples. You know these limitations, the top limitations better than I do, right? So this is just a format that you could use. Now, the next thing, the messaging throughout the page keeps switching from selling the vehicle of the instant AI agency to selling the product, which is the book, right? Because the vehicle to take advantage of this opportunity, the opportunity is working with like these big businesses, right? It's the AI agency system. This is like the congruency issue, right? You want to sell one mechanism, and then the way to get that mechanism, to unlock that mechanism, is the product, right? So they can learn more about this vehicle to take advantage of this opportunity by unlocking the product, the offer that you have. But throughout the page, you go from two-line SMS system to AI agency, instant AI agency playbook, to starting an AI agency, right? This just breaks congruency and it confuses the reader or the viewer if they watch the VSL. So the book should be positioned, as I said, as a way to unlock the business opportunity or unlock this vehicle to take advantage of this business opportunity and vice versa. Also, the two-line SMS system seems like a deliverable further down the page. Yep, right here. Where was it? This is also the two-line SMS system, and then you go into the bonuses. I would actually stack the bonuses here because this is just confusing. So it's like, because they're going to read through this, then they're going to read through this, and they're going to think, wait, so what am I actually getting? Again, you have kind of like different, then you talk about the instant AI agency. So this should be like, what is the two-line SMS system? The two-line SMS system that you can get inside the instant AI agency playbook is blah, blah, blah. Then this section here, this should be replaced with what is mechanism. I'm going to show you an example, as I said, because I want to go through this sections, right? All the sections you want to have below the fold, and then I'm going to show you what it looks like. But let's see what else. Change CTAs to focus on them. That's another thing. So get instant access is fine. I would just make it get instant access to the instant AI, to the AI agency playbook. But then also again here, or I would just do AI system, right? Two-line AI system. So I would do AI system because it's just more congruent with this. Otherwise, it's just confusing, right? Because here again, you're selling the AI. I'm scrambling my words. You're selling the two-line SMS system, then you're selling the book, right? Get instant access to the book, which they don't know what they're paying for. What am I getting? Am I getting the two-line SMS system, or am I getting the instant AI agency playbook? Like, this might sound simple, but people lose trust very quickly on these low, especially if they're seeing you for the first time. If there's any confusion, because confusion creates uncertainty, right? If there's any uncertainty, they're not going to buy. They're not going to pay you anything. So yeah, CTAs, changing the CTAs to being action-oriented and outcome-focused. So yes, I want to launch my AI agency, or yes, I want to start, my instant AI agency. Yes, I want to get my two-line SMS system. I would make the only thing here is, of course, these are example CTAs, but I would just keep the CTA congruent with the one mechanism that you're selling, right? So if it's a 2-line SMS system, all the buttons should be around. Also, I would headline above your buttons, right? Unlock your 2-line SMS system today, right? And start landing clients that pay you $1,000 a day, up to $1,000 a day, right? So have headlines above your buttons. That's also important. But yeah, I would keep the buttons congruent with one mechanism instead of here's like unlock my access. But the buttons should be essentially captioned in a way. That's what the headline does, right? Unlock my access to what, right? Unlock your instant AI agency playbook or 2-line SMS system. You got to keep it one mechanism. You are selling pretty much anything. This literally applies to any of the high converting VSL funnels, right? Or low ticket funnels that we created, even webinars, like webinar sign up pages. We're trying to prove 3 things. The first one is proving that we are credible to teach this, right? And of course you do this in the VSL, but you need to do this on the page itself as well. That we're credible to teach this, right? Teach this vehicle that they can use to take advantage of this opportunity, that the vehicle itself is proven, right? So it's like the mechanism is proven, the mechanism works because of X, Y, Z. And then number 3, that it works for other people, right? So it's not just working for us, but it also works for all these other people. And you do that throughout the page, but it's just a little bit scattered. The one thing you don't necessarily do is proving yourself as, you can say, the guru, right? Or the teacher who can actually teach them this mechanism, who's credible enough to teach them this mechanism. You do it in your VSL, but you don't do it throughout your page. Let me double check that, right? Because I went through it. Yeah, you don't really have any sections on that. So that's very important. Here's how it works. That's another thing, right? I didn't necessarily see, you kind of break it down. You kind of talk about what the system is, right? It's this, it gets you these benefits, but how does it actually work? You have it here, but I would have a longer section on this. And then when you talk about how it works, talk about how it doesn't work, right? Not like literally saying it doesn't work by this, but you talk about you don't have to do this, right? Step 1 is this, meaning you don't have to do this, and this is all the other things that like haven't worked for them, right? You don't have to figure out all this code. You don't have to do this. You don't have to do this. So that's important. With your close specifically, you don't necessarily have a close. You just do a reoffer and you do the FAQ, which is great. A lot of people don't include a FAQ on their low tickets. That's something I always call out. But with your close section, you need to use a 2-path close. Available for instant download. I would say just make this a little bit more clear. Again, to remove any sort of uncertainty, download where, right? On the next page, right? Or a link for a copy of the instant AI agency will be sent to your email instantly within 30 seconds, right? You can do that as well. The proof is too vague. That is true. Some of the proofs, like they are clear, but you do need to caption like this here as well, where you're blurring their names. I like to caption proof, and I also like to do proof diversification. So, and by the way, like all these things, right? These, because yes, like you want to get to that 5%, 4% conversion rate, but also this is all about getting more qualified leads. You're going to like liquidate more spend, but you also want to get more qualified leads on the back end, right? When you're doing your event, when you're upselling them. So that's all these suggestions apply to that as well. They're just about getting like, and the same thing comes down to like calling out a specific avatar. Because on the back end, you can probably see, of course, who buys this the most, but also you can see what sort of avatar is the most likely to actually buy your upsell, right? So if you see that, even if it drops your front end conversion rate, it drops your liquidation, as long as the economics work out, it could make sense to call out that specific avatar on this page, right? And tailor the page to that avatar so you attract more of those people who actually upsell and increase your LTV, right? Because that's what it comes down to, right? This is just a way of getting their trust with the low ticket, getting them as customers, but you of course have the upsell on the back end. So with the low tickets, that's crucial. It's not just about selling, to random people. It's about getting people who are more likely to buy the next thing you're selling them. Proof is vague. What I mean here is captioning the proof. A lot of times, people won't actually take the time to read through the proof. They'll like skim through it, and if they don't understand it completely, they just get confused or they don't believe it as much. Especially if you like blur out names. So if you have to blur out names, you can use pseudonyms for the person. There's nothing wrong with that. But just to make the proof more concrete, right, include their location. So it's like Isaiah, right, or Ishwan 39, right? Or I had this example, John 38 from XYZ. So like the city or state hit his first 5K month using X mechanism with zero previous tech knowledge, right? You're eliminating the objection and you're also selling the outcome that they also want. And you just have these as captions under your images. That's a lot faster for them to skim through, right? Because people skim through these, they don't take their time to actually like read through this, and they don't have the attention span for that. But when you have that caption, then they either will actually go back to the proof and read the entire thing, like, oh, how did this guy do it? And it creates more believability. Or they'll just have a better summary of the proof, right? Oh, this is what happened. Boom, keep scrolling. But yeah, those help. Proof diversification, what I mean by that is not just including like proof from school posts, because this is just also about increasing the believability of the proof, but mixing in like different proof from different sources. For example, if someone like privately messaged you, you can send that. Like if we have, it just depends on, of course, sometimes it's not possible, but sometimes we'll have clients who will have like a school, they'll have a Discord, they'll have a few, and then they'll get some people like DMing them. We'll include screenshots from all those different sources, even like YouTube comments sometimes, because it makes it more believable. Like it can't be faked, right? When people are commenting on all these different platforms or messaging you about this or about your system working, it can be faked, and it creates more belief in the people who are on this page and are about to buy. Fast action bonuses. This is also important because you do have bonuses, but I would label these as fast action bonuses. When you buy the system today, when you unlock the immediate access to, when you unlock the instant AI agency today, right, you'll also receive the 6 fast action bonuses, right? Another thing, yeah, this is just a simple one. This is just one piece of, again, the above the fold. Remove the play bar from the video, right? You're using, I think this is Wistia.
Startup costs
Use
are
analytics
almost
to Turb, right? Remove play bar controls, include autoplay, and that's where you make the bar, right, progress faster than the video actually is. Because 14 minutes to someone who lands on this page, right? Like most people are gonna see your ad, they're like doom scrolling, maybe they're on a lunch break. 14 minutes looks pretty scary. They're gonna either put it off for later and then never come back. They're not gonna watch it. You can see this on your VSL playthrough rate as well, by the way, right? You can check these metrics, and they're probably aligned with what I'm saying. But if you include autoplay, so they land on the page, the video is already playing, and then there's no play controls besides like speed, and they can typically will include speed and audio controls. And the bar is going faster than the video actually is, and then it slows down. You get a higher watch time on the video, so more people consume your message, and more people are aware of what the product actually is and how they can benefit from it.